My beloved child, it is time for you to stop seeing yourself through the lens of the limitations that the world once placed upon you. For so long, you have grown accustomed to measuring your worth by what you can accomplish, by what others think of you, or by what your circumstances allow you to do. But today, I want you to lift your eyes higher. I want you to look at what I saw in you, even before you were born. For before any human voice ever defined you, my calling had already been spoken over your life. Before the world placed its labels upon you, I already knew your name. Before anyone ever doubted your ability, I had already appointed a good purpose for your life. There have been moments when you felt different from those around you. You could not easily blend into the things the crowd was chasing after. There were conversations that left your heart feeling empty. There were goals that others considered everything, yet your soul found no true satisfaction in them. Do not be quick to think of this as weakness or isolation. Many times, it is a sign that I have placed within you a longing deeper than temporary things. For a soul created for eternity will never be fully satisfied with what quickly passes away. As it is written, He has also set eternity in the human heart, Ecclesiastes 3:11. That is why, the closer you walk with me, the more you will realize that what you are seeking is not prominence before the eyes of people, but wholeness in my will. My beloved child, I know there are wounds you still carry even to this day. There were times you were misunderstood, times you were looked down upon, times you were rejected, causing your heart to wonder whether you truly had value. But I want you to remember this: the judgment of people cannot change what I have spoken over you. If others fail to see your worth, it does not mean that worth does not exist. A pearl buried beneath the mud is still a precious pearl. A seed hidden beneath the soil still carries life within it. And so it is with you. What I have placed within you is not lost simply because others do not recognize it. As I spoke to the prophet Samuel, people look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. I do not see you through your failures or shortcomings. I see you through the purpose I have appointed for your life. There are things you have gone through that made you think you were being delayed. But I want you to understand that not every slowing down is an obstacle. There are seasons when I allow you to pass through the wilderness in order to prepare you for the promised land. There are quiet intervals I allow to come so that depth may be formed within your soul. Look at Joseph. Before he became a leader in Egypt, he went through the pit, the chains, and the prison. To the natural eye, all those events seemed to push him farther away from the promise. But in truth, each circumstance was bringing him closer to what I had ordained. In the same way, there are things you do not understand today. But the day will come when you look back and realize that even the pain became an instrument in my hand to prepare you for the future. My beloved child, I did not create you to become a copy of anyone else. One of the greatest traps of the world is to make you spend your life comparing yourself. You look at others and think they are more gifted, stronger, more loved, or more successful. But when you do this, you begin to lose sight of the unique gift I have placed within you. Remember that Moses was not called to become Abraham. David was not called to become Elijah. Esther was not called to become Deborah. Each person has a distinct place in my plan. In the same way, you have an assignment that no one else can replace. If you try to live someone else's life, you will miss the life I have prepared for you. I want you to know that the battles you have gone through were not meaningless. Each time you rose again after failure, your faith grew stronger. Each time you continued to love, despite being wounded, your heart was enlarged. Each time you remained faithful in small things, your character was formed. As it is written, the testing of your faith produces perseverance. James 1:3. What you call a battle is often the classroom I use to prepare you for something greater. No tear is wasted. No experience becomes useless when it is placed in my hands. Remember Gideon? When I called him, he was hiding in the winepress because of fear. Even he could not see the value within himself. Yet I called him a mighty warrior. I saw what he had not yet seen. I saw the man he would become. My beloved child, many times I am looking at you in the same way. You see your weakness, but I see the potential I have placed within you. You see your present limitations, but I see the future being formed. You see closed doors, but I see paths being opened. The only thing I will not force is your response. I can open the way, but you must walk in it. I can call, but you must answer. I can place opportunity before you, but you must choose to trust. Faith is not sitting still and waiting for everything to happen. Faith is stepping forward even when you cannot see the entire journey. Just as Peter stepped out of the boat to walk on the water, you too will have moments when you must leave the place of comfort and step into what I am calling you to do. Do not wait until everything is perfect. Do not wait until you feel strong enough. If you wait until there is no fear before you move, you may never move at all. But if you trust me, I will become your strength in the midst of what you cannot do on your own. My beloved child, from today onward, learn to see yourself through my eyes. Do not define yourself by what you have lost. Do not limit yourself by old failures. Do not allow negative words to become the loudest voice in your mind. Ask me each day, Father, how do you want me to walk today? Who do you want me to become in your plan? And I promise that if you sincerely seek me, I will guide you. As Jesus said, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. Matthew 7:7. Therefore, my beloved child, rise up from the old limitations and step into the new thing I am preparing. Believe that I have equipped you with everything you need to complete your assignment. Let your wounds become a testimony. Let your trials become strength. And let your seasons of waiting become the foundation for a firmer faith. You were not born to live a life led by fear. You were called to walk in my light, in my purpose, and in my eternal love. And as you continue to journey with me, you will come to realize that the greatest thing is not the achievements you obtain, but becoming exactly the person I ordained you to be from the very beginning. My beloved child, I want you to understand that the restoration I am carrying out does not stop merely at repairing what has been broken or returning what has been lost. What I am doing goes much deeper than that. I am restoring the very dignity I placed upon your life from the beginning. There have been times when you felt misunderstood, judged through stories that did not truly reflect who you are. There were moments when your efforts were overlooked. Your heart was misinterpreted, and your sincerity was not recognized. But my beloved child, what people think of you is not the final verdict. I am the one who sees what is hidden deep within the human heart, and I know clearly who you are. I know there are wounds that did not come from great events, but from long years of living with the feeling that you were not being heard. There are pains formed by the times you had to remain silent in order to avoid conflict. There are parts within your heart that have grown used to withdrawing, fearing that if you spoke what you truly felt, you would be misunderstood or pushed away. But today, I want you to know that I have never required you to live under the burden of pretense. I did not create you to forever hide your wounds beneath a forced smile. I am the God of truth, and truth in my hands is not a weapon meant to destroy, but a light meant to heal. Perhaps there were times when you felt as though you were living under the shadow of unresolved things, old memories, unanswered questions, and emotions buried deep within your heart made it difficult for you to be completely free. But I say to you that you are not called to live forever in the shadow of those things. I am inviting you to step into the light, not to dig up the past in bitterness, but to allow my grace to touch the places that still hurt. For light does not exist to condemn darkness. Light exists to drive darkness away. As Jesus said, then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. John 8:32. My beloved child, I do not want you to misunderstand my righteousness. Righteousness is not revenge. I am not calling you to nurture bitterness or to wait for others to be brought low so that you may be lifted up. That is not the way of heaven. What I desire to do is to free you from the burden of the things that once held you back. When I restore, I do not merely repair circumstances, I heal the heart. When I make a way, I do not only open outward doors, I also open the inner doors of the soul that have long been locked by fear and disappointment. True freedom does not come from everyone admitting they were wrong. True freedom comes when those things no longer rule over you. Remember the story of Joseph. When he stood before the brothers who had once betrayed him, he had every reason to retaliate. But instead of allowing the past to control the present, he chose to see everything through the eyes of faith. He said that what people intended for harm, God had used for good. That is the power of healing. It is not denying the pain, but allowing me to turn that pain into a testimony. It is not forgetting what happened, but allowing me to write a new meaning over the chapters of life that were once filled with tears. My beloved child, there are seasons when I allow you to wait, not because I have forgotten you, but because I am building within you a foundation strong enough to carry what I am about to give. If I were only to change your circumstances without changing your heart, you might be wounded again by the very things I give. Therefore, before I lift you up, I teach you humility. Before I open a new door, I teach you wisdom. Before I restore what is outward, I restore what is inward. As it is written, He restores my soul. Psalm 23:3. That has always been my first priority. I also want you to know that you do not need to live in fear of the truth. Many people fear the truth because they think it will destroy what they have. But when truth is in my hands, it is not meant to destroy, but to rescue. There are things that must be acknowledged in order to be healed. There are things that must be brought into the light so they may lose their power. And there are things that must be surrendered to me so you no longer have to carry them on your shoulders. I am not calling you to live suspicious of everyone, but to live in the discernment and peace of the Holy Spirit. My beloved child, from today onward, stop trying to maintain burdens I never placed upon your shoulders. You do not need to please everyone. You do not need to sacrifice the truth in order to preserve a false peace. You do not need to keep proving your worth to those who do not want to see it. What I require of you is to walk in love, in truthfulness, and in trust in me. Let me do the work that only I can do. Let me protect what needs to be protected, open what needs to be opened, and restore what needs to be restored. Therefore, my beloved child, do not be afraid when I lead you out of the familiar dark places and into the light. The light may reveal what has been hidden, but it is also the place where healing begins. I do not lead you there to wound you, but to set you free. I do not draw you out of the past so that you may suffer more loss, but so that you may receive something better. Trust me in every step. Let your heart rest in my faithfulness, and then you will realize that the greatest restoration is not merely the changing of your circumstances, but the freedom, healing, and steadfastness of your soul in the identity I gave you from the very beginning. My beloved child, for too long you have carried within your heart the memories of painful seasons, days and months that seemed as though they would never end. There were times when you walked through your own darkness and wondered whether dawn would ever appear again. There were dreams that once burned brightly, yet seemed to be buried beneath one disappointment after another. There were prayers you lifted up through tears, and even today you still remember clearly every feeling from those long nights. But now, I want you to listen to the gentle voice speaking from my heart. The season of pain is not your destiny. Those days have completed their work, and I am calling you to rise and step into a new chapter that my grace has prepared for you long ago. My beloved child, among the millions of people living on this earth, I know your name clearly. I know the journey you have walked. I know the battles no one else has seen. I know the times you smiled on the outside, while inside you were struggling not to collapse. I know the moments when you felt you no longer had the strength to continue, yet still took one more step. None of these things has been forgotten before me. As it is written, the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are attentive to their cry. Psalm 34:15. Not one of your tears has fallen without me seeing it. Not one prayer you have offered has gone unheard by me. I want you to understand that your worth is not determined by what you have lost, nor is it measured by the times you have failed. Over the years, you may have grown accustomed to seeing yourself through limitations, shortcomings, and wounds, but that is not how I see you. When I look at you, I see someone being shaped. I see a soul refined through the fire of trials. I see seeds of faith growing even in the driest seasons. For I have never called you by what you have been through. I call you according to what I have destined you to become. Before you ever cried your first cry in this world, I knew you. Before anyone else called your name, I had called your name in my eternal purpose. As it is written, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1-5. This means that your life is not the result of chance. Your presence on this earth is not a mistake. I placed you in the right time, the right generation, and the right position to fulfill a part of my good plan. Perhaps you once thought that broken dreams were a sign that you had taken the wrong path. But I want you to look again with new eyes. There are doors I allow to close in order to protect you from what does not belong to you. There are delays I allow in order to prepare you for something greater. Remember Joseph. When he was sold as a slave, he could not understand why everything was happening that way. When he was imprisoned in the darkness of a prison cell, he could not yet see the future ahead. Yet every event that seemed painful was leading him to the place I had appointed. What you call brokenness is often only part of a divine arrangement. My beloved child, I did not choose you because you are always strong. I did not call you because you are more perfect than others. I called you because you still continue to seek me in the midst of weary days. I called you because even when your faith feels small, you have not completely let go of my hand. I called you because there is still a flame within you that adversity cannot extinguish. That faithfulness in small things is what I treasure. Remember David when he was still a young shepherd boy in the wilderness. No one thought he would become king. Even his own family did not consider it. But while people looked at outward appearance, I looked at the heart. I saw in David what others could not see. And I am also seeing in you things that you yourself have not yet recognized. There are gifts you have not yet discovered. There are abilities you have not yet used. There are doors of the future that you cannot yet imagine today. But I have already seen them all from the beginning. My beloved child, do not continue living under the shadow of the painful seasons that have passed. Do not carry the garments of mourning from the past into the new season I am opening before you. I am not saying that what you went through was meaningless. On the contrary, those things have helped shape who you are today. But I do not want you to pitch your tent in the land of pain. I want you to keep moving forward. I want you to allow hope to come alive again. I want you to believe that good things are still waiting ahead. As it is written, see, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Isaiah 43:19. Perhaps right now you cannot yet see the full picture I am painting. Perhaps there are still questions without answers. But I am teaching you something greater than understanding, learning how to trust. When you cannot see the way, hold my hand. When you do not understand what is happening, remember that I am still reigning. When you feel weak, remember that my power is made perfect in weakness. For true strength does not come from the ability to control everything, but from knowing the one who is in control of everything. Therefore, my beloved child, rise up, not by your own strength, but by the new strength I am giving you. Shake the dust off the dreams you have buried. Open your heart to new opportunities. Walk by faith instead of fear. The season of tears has completed its work. The season of learning has completed its work. Now, I am leading you into a new season, where healing replaces hurt, where hope replaces disappointment, where light replaces darkness. And one day, you will look back on the path you have traveled with gratitude, because you will realize that even in the most painful days, I was quietly preparing you for something better than anything you had ever imagined. My beloved child, there are battles no one sees, except you and me. Others may see that you are still working, still smiling, still walking through each day as usual. But I know the silent struggles taking place within you. I see the thoughts that weigh heavily upon your heart. I see the worries that remain unanswered. I see the old memories that sometimes return like unexpected waves, trying to pull you back into places where I have already begun to heal you. And today, I want you to know that I not only see that storm, but I am also present right in the midst of it. Many times, what exhausts you most is not the outward circumstance, but the endless conversations within your mind. There are days when you battle doubt. There are days when you wonder whether you are capable enough, whether the things you hope for will ever become reality. There are moments when your heart feels like a sea stirred by countless opposing winds. But I say to you, do not allow temporary emotions to become the guide of your life. Emotions may change from day to day, but my promise remains firm. As it is written, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Psalm 46:1. This means that even when your heart is trembling, my foundation is never shaken. My beloved child, I know there are nights when you lie awake while everyone else has fallen asleep. Unanswered questions keep returning. Worries about tomorrow try to take possession of your mind. At times, you feel as though you must carry everything by yourself, as if everything would collapse if you loosened your grip even a little. But I never created you to bear those burdens alone. Jesus said, "Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you." 1 Peter 5:7. I did not speak this as a beautiful idea. I spoke it as a real invitation. Give me what is making your heart heavy. Let me carry what your own strength can no longer bear. There are times when you think I am silent because I have not acted. But, my beloved child, my silence is not my absence. Remember the story of the disciples on the Sea of Galilee. When the storm rose violently, they saw the storm as greater than my presence. They thought I did not care because I was sleeping in the boat. But even when I rested, I was still Lord over the storm. I did not lose control simply because the disciples were afraid. And today, I want you to understand the same truth. The fact that you do not yet see the answer does not mean I am not working. The fact that you have not yet seen change does not mean I have forgotten my promise. I want to teach you something that only those who have passed through storms can understand. True faith is not built in easy days. Faith matures in the moments when you still choose to believe even before you see the result. It is when everything becomes unclear that you learn to hold on to my word instead of holding on to your emotions. It is when you can no longer clearly see the way that you learn to take hold of my hand. As it is written, the righteous will live by faith. Romans 1:17. Faith is not denying reality. It is seeing reality through the lens of my promise. Remember Peter when he stepped out of the boat to walk on the water. as long as his eyes remained fixed on Jesus. He continued walking upon what was impossible. But when he began to look at the wind and the waves, fear rose within him, and he began to sink. My beloved child, this is also the lesson for you today. What determines your stability is not the size of the storm, but the direction of your gaze. If you look only at what is making you anxious, you will lose your peace. But if you continue to fix your eyes on me, you will find the strength to walk through what you once thought was impossible. I know that right now, there may still be doors that have not opened. Perhaps you have not yet seen any clear sign that your circumstances are about to change. But do not let your natural sight limit what I am doing. Some of the most important works take place where human eyes cannot see. A seed sprouts beneath the soil before it appears above the ground. Dawn begins to rise from the horizon before light fills the whole sky. In the same way, I am working in places you cannot yet see. As it is written, what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, and what no human mind has conceived, the things God has prepared for those who love him. 1 Corinthians 2:9. My beloved child, do not judge your future by the emotions of today. Do not think that because you are weary today, tomorrow holds no hope. Do not think that because you do not yet see the light today, the light will never come. I am the God of new beginnings. I am the one who makes a way in the wilderness and causes rivers to flow in dry places. What you are going through now is not the final chapter of the story. I am still writing. I am still shaping. I am still leading. Therefore, my beloved child, let your heart rest in me. Stop trying to control everything that only I can control. Give me the fears you are carrying. Entrust to me the questions that still have no answers. Let me become the refuge of your soul. Then you will discover that true peace does not come when there are no more storms, but when you realize that I am still in the boat with you, and when I am there, no wave can drown the destiny I have prepared for your life. Keep walking. Keep trusting. For on the day you look back, you will realize that the very storm that once frightened you became the place where I revealed my faithfulness and my power most clearly.